So for this particular build, I will be using this 6-channel receiver from Radiolink, and this guy just so happens to fit perfectly in here. So I will be using this guy to control the linear servo that I have mounted like so. And I've gone ahead and redesigned the steering knuckles in the front, basically cross members, so I could at least be able to steer better if I have set the linear servo like so. The 6-channel receiver will control the linear servo along with the rotating servo and a motor and some headlights and tail lights. I've redesigned the chassis a little bit so I could mount the linear servo like so. If we look at it when it's mounted in, the servo arm is perfectly lined up where the cross member will be. So in theory, when the servo arm when the servo arm goes left and right, I should be able to control the front steering wheels. So I do plan on keeping the original rubber wheels. These are they look really nice, and of course it goes really well with the car that it came with. The rear bumper was actually part of the metal chassis that I had to chop off, and the windows I had to take off the top here just so I could have clearance. And of course the front grille along with the headlights and the side skirts and the stepping boards. I found some pictures on Google and modeled the trailer somewhat after it, and it's actually just a really simple trailer that I designed and 3D printed. Okay, now that I got all the components together, I want to test them just to see how things operate. So here we have our steering. I'm using the linear servo for my steering. And then we have our motor to run the rear wheels. And now we have our rotating servo for the trailer bed, which can be controlled by a turning knob. And then we have our lights for our truck. So this is the final product. I basically had to go with the bigger motor, the bigger high torque motor. So the other motor that I had, the small little dual shaft motor here, was not strong enough to carry the weight of all the components, the truck itself, along with the wagon and a car on the trailer. So I had to switch over to this high torque motor so it could carry the load. And of course, with using this high torque motor, I had to make a coupler here because the shaft, the output shaft on the motor here was way bigger. So this coupler here could go into this, I believe, a 3mm shaft here, and coming out here will be 1mm shaft. And of course I have to use these bevel gears to run the rear wheels. The linear servo doesn't have that far of a travel, so my steering radius is really small. Now this looks like a jumbo mess, and of course the wires, all the wirings could be a little shorter just so I could make more room. But in this particular case, as I stated before, I had to run 2 ESCs, one for the lights and one for the motor. Now the servos, this rotating servo and the front linear servo is basically soldered straight onto the receiver because it has the signal lines, power and negative lines already. I'm only using the servo arm for the trailer to go rotate up and down, I'm only using this particular small arm to lift up the trailer and to make it go back. Now I could have extended this arm a little bit longer, so then it'll be easier for the servo to lift up the trailer, to rotate the trailer, but I think right now it's sufficient. If not, I could always extend it. This is the wiring diagram, and this is how I wired everything up to the receiver. Okay, so I think I finally got everything together, and everything seems to be working. The steering works, my trailer works, and I have lights as well. Let's put the car on. Right, there you have it. There's a lot of lessons learned that I could improve on, and there's a lot of things, just little things that needs to be fixed, like the steering and the placement of the motor, and of course the wires could be shortened, and I could at least add like a connector here or something. But yeah, overall I think this truck is perfect because of the space inside. But yeah, I have a working trailer where I can haul my cars now.